Just past 2 a.m., Tyler Grant saw a sedan at the pump, a woman with trembling hands avoiding his eyes. When he leaned down for payment, the blanket in her back seat moved with the rhythm of breathing. His pulse spiked. He pressed the silent alarm, buying time with small talk as police lights flooded the station. When officers pulled back that blanket, everything Tyler thought he knew shattered. Tyler Grant had seen his share of strange things working the graveyard shift at the highway gas station. 3 years on the job taught him to read people fast. Just after 2 a.m., the fluorescent lights hummed above empty pumps. A sedan pulled in slowly, almost hesitantly. Tyler watched from behind the bulletproof glass as the car stopped near pump 3. The engine kept running for a moment before shutting off. The woman who stepped out moved like someone who hadn't slept in days. Her clothes were wrinkled. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. But it was her hands that Tyler noticed first. They trembled slightly as she unscrewed the gas cap. When she came inside to pay, she kept her eyes down. Her voice was flat when she told him the pump number. The woman pulled crumpled bills from her pocket. As he counted the money, he leaned forward slightly. Through the window, he could see into her back seat. A blanket covered something. The blanket moved. Not from wind coming through a crack in the window. It moved the way fabric moves when someone breathes underneath it, rising and falling in a steady rhythm. Tyler's stomach tightened. His mind raced through possibilities. A kidnapping. A trafficking situation. Someone hurt and hidden. He looked up at the woman. She was staring at him now. Her eyes weren't cold or calculating. They were afraid. Deeply, terrifyingly afraid. Tyler forced a smile. His hand moved casually below the counter, feeling for the button he hoped he'd never have to use. The silent alarm connected directly to the police station 5 miles down the road. He pressed it. Now he had to buy time. He started talking about the weather, how cold it had gotten. The woman nodded but didn't respond. She just stood there, waiting for her change. Her fingers drummed against the counter, nervous energy radiating from every movement. Tyler asked if she needed anything else. Coffee, snacks over the road. She shook her head. Her eyes kept darting to the door, to her car, to the parking lot beyond. Headlights cut through the darkness. Red and blue flashing lights painted the gas station in alternating colors. The woman's face went pale. Her hands gripped the edge of the counter. She looked at Tyler with something like betrayal. The police cruiser pulled up behind her sedan. 2 officers stepped out. Tyler came out from behind the counter. The woman walked slowly toward her car. The blanket in the back seat was moving more violently now. One of them knocked on the driver's side window and asked the woman to step out. She complied. Her hands were shaking worse than before. The second officer opened the rear door. He carefully pulled back the blanket. Under the blanket was an elderly woman. She had white hair that stuck up in all directions. She tried to sit up. She called out a name. David. Over and over. David. Her voice rising with each repetition. The elderly woman reached out, trying to grab something that wasn't there. She looked like a child who had just woken from a nightmare. Disoriented and frightened. The officers stepped back, confused now instead of confrontational. One of them made a phone call. Within 20 minutes, a doctor arrived. He examined the elderly woman through the car window, speaking softly to her. She smiled at him like she knew him. The doctor spoke quietly with the officers. Mid-stage Alzheimer's disease. The younger woman was sitting on the curb now. Her face was buried in her hands. She started talking. She explained she was taking her mother to a specialized dementia care facility, 3 states away. It was the only place that would accept her mother's case, the only place they could afford. She had been driving for 16 hours straight. No money for hotels, no one else who could help. Just her and her mother and hundreds of miles of highway ahead. Her mother kept trying to escape from the blanket. She kept calling out for David, her deceased father. Tyler felt something twist in his chest. He had called the police thinking he was saving someone. Instead, he had just made everything harder for a woman who was already drowning. But then something unexpected happened. One of the officers made another call. Within the hour, a social worker arrived. The social worker explained there was a facility in the next county, just 40 miles away. They had an opening, emergency placement, and there were programs to help with costs. The social worker made arrangements for temporary shelter at a local facility where the mother could rest safely. Just for the night. Just until the transfer could be arranged properly. Before they left, the elderly mother turned to look at Tyler. She smiled at him. That same childlike smile she had given the doctor. She reached out and grabbed his hand. Her grip was surprisingly strong. She held on like he was someone important. Tyler squeezed back gently. The social worker helped guide the mother into a transport vehicle. The daughter followed. She turned back once to look at Tyler. She didn't say thank you. She didn't need to. Her expression said everything. Tyler watched the taillights disappear down the highway. The gas station returned to its usual quiet. He went back inside and sat behind the counter. His hands were still shaking. He had pressed that button thinking he knew what was happening, thinking he understood the situation. But he had been wrong about everything, and somehow being wrong had led to the right outcome anyway. Tyler had almost separated them, but instead that night led to help neither of them knew was possible. If you saw someone acting strangely in the middle of the night, would you trust your instincts or would you hesitate?